Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we've hopefully feel confident as we've explored the sim and looked at how the velocity of uh, an object can change. Looking at this idea that a force is required in order to change the velocity of an object. Now, part of how an object change is greatly dependent upon the direction that we apply or exert a force um, on an object. So today we're going to be diving into the sim, looking at this idea of how direction that we use to apply a force can impact an object's velocity. We're going to skip over the video here. If you would like to watch this, please feel free to click the needs help to get a quick review. But as of today, we're going to be diving into the sim to look at how direction plays a role in the force that we apply and the change in velocity that an object can have. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So we have looked at applying forces to objects in motion without using a collision. Today we're going to demonstrate how to predict and test how direction can impact an object's velocity. So if you look down here, you'll notice that we have a sim table, and in the very first column, we have our 5 ways that velocity can change. In the middle column, we have the prediction column that's in green, and then on the right side, we have the testing column. We're going to start by looking at the prediction column. Before you dive into the sim, your job will be to think about the objects that are in the sim and look at our changes in velocity. Each one requires a specific direction that a force needs to be applied in order to cause this change. Your job is going to be to first predict which direction you would need to exert a force in order to get this velocity change. So, for example, if I needed to get an object to start moving, that means I have an object not moving. I would predict that I need to apply a force in an opposite direction. Maybe you think it's an object needs to have a force applied in the same direction. Maybe it's exerted in any direction, but this is a prediction. You're not doing anything other than thinking about what you observed in the sim and making a prediction. From there, you're then going to dive into the sim and test out your idea. If you get it right or wrong, will determine what you put in the testing column. So let's say I dive into the sim and I predicted that it needs to be applied in the opposite direction. Well, I add my object you see here with the correct velocity. In this case, it's 0, so I don't move any of the toggles in that velocity window that we have in the build page. And as I'm exploring, I realize, well, there's no real opposite direction. I can apply an object's force in any direction. I can have it go left, I can have it go right, up, down, whatever. And I run that sim and apply those forces in those different directions. And you know what? My prediction was wrong. That's okay. Our job now is to dive into the sim data table here. And in the testing column, put the correct answer or what we were able to observe in the sim. In this case, in order to get an object to start moving, it wasn't the opposite direction, it was any direction. So I go in and I put my final answer. So notice I do my prediction, I test the direction that I apply the force, and then I'm going to confirm what worked in the sim and what my correct answer is based on my observations. So take a second. Do you understand how to add velocity to an object in the sim and how to complete the sim data table to predict the direction of force needed for an object to change its velocity? If you put your X in yellow or red, reach out. Otherwise, good luck.